If you've ever attended school, high school, college, university, middle school, you'll see very quickly that a lot of students utilize a learning technique called cramming. They hadn't studied that much previously, and so perhaps the night before the test, hours before the test, they read a lot and try to store as much information into their head as possible. Turns out that this method of learning isn't ideal. Instead, the brain learns better when there are spaces between the time it processes information. And so we're going to be taking advantage of this system. And this phenomenon is called the spacing effect. And there are different theories as to how it works. One theory utilizes the word semantic processing and semantic priming. So let's say we're learning something new. Our brain is trying to figure it out. So it's doing all this processing. Once it's figured it out, it sort of has this template, this blueprint, this idea of how it works. So if something gets introduced very quickly or within some relative amount of time, it's going to utilize this template. It's not going to try to reprocess it. It's already been primed. And processing is learning for us. If we're already primed, our brain isn't going to be doing that much work to figure it out. So what we want to do is take more time so that that priming disintegrates, so that this template in which we're trying to figure it out goes away and we can reprocess it, creating more learning for us. So the spacing effect tells us that it's better to learn over time, that we should have space between our learning in order to maximize what we learn. And this is much better than trying to cram everything into our head at once. So what sort of space are we talking about? Do we try to learn after a day, a second day, a third day? Are these even intervals in time? How much time do we need for that semantic priming to disappear so that we can really reprocess these, whatever it is that we're learning? So Pimsleur did a study on this, and they found out that instead of even intervals of time, it's much better, it's optimal to have graduated intervals. And so we're going to look at this data, and we're going to utilize them both in our Kahoot and in our classroom in order to maximize the learning for our students.